whilst there's lots to welcome in this bill, I fear it's been completely overshadowed by plans to restrict jury trials. This is not what victims are asking for. They need changes that are backed by evidence, and we'll see genuine improvements to the criminal justice system. Jury trials are not what has led to the backlog, and these reforms won't reduce them. I have a close friend who is a survivor of rape. He was alarmed by this proposal, and after a 3.5-year wait for her trial, the delay made her suicidal. She desperately wants action on court backlogs, but opposes this and is outraged that her trauma and that of thousands of survivors is being used to justify what she sees as effectively as a court cost-cutting exercise. Learned friends will know that courts could be instructed to prioritise rape cases and have them heard in a set period of time, like 6 months. And just as my honourable and brave friend, the member for Warrington North, raised, where are the specialist courts? None of these things require legislation. We need to address the backlog in our criminal courts, but any steps taken should never jeopardise equality or access to justice.
My good friend give way on that point.
Yes,
my good friend talks about equality and not jeopardising it. Does she agree with me that more needs to be done in terms of recruiting more people from diverse communities to ensure that our systems are far more diverse and represent the communities in which it serves?
My honourable friend is absolutely right, and she will have heard many times in this chamber people talk about the lack of diversity in our judicial system. Now, last July I met with the Bar Council because when a sector has issues we should talk to the workers. They more often than not have the solutions. That, in my view, has always been the Labour way. They had a number of recommendations that should be considered. For example, remanding defendants who are awaiting trial should be conveniently located at a prison close to the court, because Serco, the company tasked with prisoner transportation, persistently fails to transport prisoners in good time, wasting the court's time and resulting in a new court date having to be set. So end privatisation there and bring prisoner transportation back in-house. Providing greater flexibility for hearings and allowing virtual courts so that more cases are heard. Permitting all available judges, including judges who have retired but are below the age of 75, to sit as many days as they are available. Investing in more court staff and support. And listing trials from Monday to Thursday so all short matters are dealt with on one day, namely Friday, minimising disruption for all other court users such as jurors, witnesses and defendants. These are all simple changes which would significantly maximise sittings whilst preserving the basic foundations of our criminal justice system. Madam Deputy Speaker, the wholesale change that we ought to be considering today should be the complete reversal of the austerity measures introduced by the coalition government, which led to this mess. But instead, this is being overshadowed by this particular proposal. And finally, Madam Deputy Speaker, racial bias in our criminal justice system is well documented, and any reforms should address this head on. But to conduct a post-legislative review on discrimination is deeply insulting to those communities that are impacted. This was our opportunity, as I said earlier, to fully implement the Lamy review, and instead we have a situation where there will be no automatic right to appeal and where black women are 22% more likely to be convicted. To quote one of the brilliant lawyers who was protesting outside today, Ife Thompson, she said, "In a justice system that already produces racially discriminatory outcomes, removing juries means removing one of the few spaces where ordinary people and some real diversity exists in our courtrooms." Madam Deputy Speaker, we all have to have red lines, and racism in our justice system has ruined so many lives in our communities, and I cannot support this measure. And if it's not removed from the legislation, I will not be supporting this bill.